context for Hijacked has always been to bring these two cultures together. Not necessarily for harmony, but just to see what the conflicts are or what the synergy is, a way of cross-culturally analysing each other's realms or practices or art sensibilities.
Hijacked 3 is an exhibition which brings together over 25 artists from the UK and Australia. It's a selection of what we think are some of the most interesting photographers or artists working in various forms of photo media today. Hijacked is a long-running project that has been initiated by Mark McPherson, who's an incredible local maverick publisher, photo obsessive curator as well as editor.
In 2005, I started making zines. Hijacked was kind of like a platform for me to be able to involve myself with other artists collaboratively, and also in a way to kind of bring Perth a little bit closer to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world. The first 3 photographic Hijacked publications and exhibitions involved over 100 artists.
Hijacked 1 was bringing together Australian and American photographers, and for Hijacked 2 he brought together Australian photographers and German photographers.
The whole idea with the project is to keep the project fresh and vital. It's a lot of different voices. It's not my own personal aesthetic that's painted through the whole thing, so yeah, it's a bit more democratic than that.
Hijacked 3 began with an open call. There were over 400 submissions. Together, Mark and I worked with Louise Clements, who's the artistic director of Quad Gallery in Derby in England, and we edited together a selection of 35 different artists.
Hijacked has always tried to promote emerging artists, to sit alongside more established artists. Some galleries are very conscientious about where their artists are being placed or alongside whom and etc. But Hijacked was always about kind of dissolving those barriers, I guess. It's more about trying to formulate movements, to bring together similarities, contrasts, all that kind of thing.
We've been able to work with artists to develop site-specific commissions, say with British artist Teresa Zelenkova, who's based in London, working on an entire suite of photographs. Together, that's something that we workshopped across email with Google SketchUp and with Photoshop, and together worked on an installation.
Christian Thompson, I mean, he's the first Indigenous artist to study at Oxford. He's really establishing himself in the UK and living in the UK.
We've been able to work with him to produce a large 3 by 3 metre scale photograph of a very iconic image, which is an homage to his grandfather called King Billy.
A lot of my work surrounded the Eastern Distributor in Sydney, so I chose it as a location. This, for example, is a very common entryway into that tunnel. And a lot of the areas that I've photographed are actually above that tunnel. I'm sort of interested in the detritus of those failed utopias, but also the psychological decay that exists within those places. They've definitely got an anti-aesthetic about them, which keys into my interest in the saturation of media imagery. I think a photograph doesn't necessarily have to contain all of the photographic tropes that we're accustomed to seeing to be a good photograph.
One of the things about Hijacked is that you have almost every kind of photography there is. Taking pictures, pretty much anybody can do it, and anybody can take great pictures. To me, it's more about standing behind the pictures and deciding what to show and how you show it. In a way, the point of these pictures is the actual dust on the pictures, which might sound a bit funny. Just the last body of work I shot on analog film. I mean, I know people still use film now, I don't. It was an undesirable thing in analog photography, but I don't know, I guess now people do get nostalgic about it. When I printed them first time around, the dust was retouched. You got that much dust because I'm a bit sloppy as a photographer and because I was using an old camera which had dust in it. But now I reprinted them so the dust itself becomes a point, becomes a layer, so like the picture and its meaning and whatever is behind the dust. So that's just one layer, you know.
It's a great platform for their work to be visible, both in a book form, which can travel the world, and then as the exhibitions which happen here in Australia, in Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, and then simultaneously there's also the Hijacked exhibition opening at Quad Gallery in Derby, and then hopefully touring to London as well.
It's the first time we're doing these kind of international and local paralleled shows.
In a way, there's enough content here for 10 different exhibitions.
Because of the scale of Hijacked, because there's over 130 artworks, we wanted to dedicate all of the galleries to photography.
I think it's an amazing effort, especially the way it moved from being a zine to becoming this amazingly produced, exquisite international showcase of photography.
Mark sort of single-handedly created quite a unique opportunity to launch some careers, but then to pay homage to some fantastic mid-career or senior photographers that have really influenced that next generation.